Alright, let's wait for everybody to get in. Oh my god, my hair from these headphones. Oh, so raggedy. Wait for everyone to make their way in. You didn't miss nothing. I haven't started anything yet. I was waiting for y'all to get in. Raider, what's going on, man? Didn't watch the other VOD. Oh, basically you missed how Cloud and Tifa started up the Strife delivery business. Barrett went out. He went to Corel to try to settle his issues with his past, basically like all the Dio shit. And now we're on to they have Denzel. Cloud found Denzel outside of the church after he went to deliver a package to the church from Elmira. Brought home Denzel. Denzel has geostigma, and that's basically where we're at now. This guy was waiting for me to start the stream. Yeah. Is this the remake? This is right after Meteor Fall, On the Way to a Smile. No, the book for remake is Traces of Two Pasts. But we do need to listen to that too, because I have not ever heard that one. Let's get into it.
TheLightstream.net presents On the Way to a Smile. Case of Denzel.
Midgar was divided into two very different worlds. An upper city, a steel acropolis high above the ground known as the Plate. Then there were the slums, areas beneath the plate that never saw daylight. The people who lived there led chaotic but hardy lives. It was thought that this thriving light and shadow, built by a single enterprise known as the Shinra Electric Power Company, would be a site that endured forever. 4 years ago, when the livestream came flowing out of the ground, many residents believed that Midgar would crumble and fall. With only their personal effects in hand, they fled their neighborhoods.
4 years ago, is that when Shinra Power Company actually stopped just being a weapons manufacturer and actually started making Mako? I don't know the timeline for that, because I know Shinra only started off as a weapons dealer and like a small business, and they slowly turned into the biggest fucking electric corporation in the planet.
And yet, the people were unable to distance themselves from the City of Steel for long. Perhaps they thought they could return to their normal lives of blissful ignorance if they stayed close. Before long, a new town called Edge was built along the avenue stretching east from Midgar. Edge's main avenue started at the border of Midgar's 3rd and 4th sectors. The town then expanded to the north and south from there. From a distance, it seemed a magnificent city, but most of the buildings were actually constructed from Midgar's debris. The streets smelt of iron and rust. Johnny ran a cafe that sat along the main avenue.
Oh yeah, I forgot Johnny had his own cafe.
It was a humble establishment in a patch of open ground, with a stall, some tables, and a few chairs.
He stopped
where he
chasing
could do some
bitches and
simple
started
cooking.
chasing that money.
He
Attaboy.
named the cafe Johnny's Heaven. It was named after Seventh Heaven, a bar that once existed in the slums of Midgar's Sector 7. Johnny had been in love with the barmaid there for a long time. Her name was Tifa. Several months after the bar was lost during Sector 7's collapse, Tifa reopened a new 7th Heaven in Edge. At the time, Johnny was among the masses who couldn't figure out how to go on, and was moved by the strength of spirit with which Tifa lived. And so, with those thoughts in mind, she became more than just a former object of his unrequited love, but a respected figure in Johnny's heart.
I'm going to live just like Tifa. But how? I know. I'll run a business too. I'll give hope to those who have lost their way.
Bro couldn't handle not getting Tifa, so he fucking tries to turn himself into Tifa. Wild work.
That was the start of Johnny's Heaven. Customers who came there were subjected to the tale of Johnny Reborn again and again. As a result of that, many of them visited the new 7th Heaven, wanting to see Tifa, and wound up becoming her regulars. Unaware of this, Johnny continued to open 6 days a week, waiting for an audience who would listen to his tale of love and hope. Eventually, someone did come. It was a boy. It was pretty rare for a child to come in alone. He was Denzel, a young boy who was special to Johnny. He was part of Tifa's family. Johnny was going to put all his heart into his service for Denzel.
Make yourself at home, Denzel.
Johnny bowed deeply, lowering his head, but Denzel only glimpsed at him for an instant before heading to the farthest table from the stall.
Come closer and sit over here.
No, I'm meeting someone.
He's here to meet someone. He's dating already? But he's still a kid. Well, whatever. I'll watch over him. This is all part of my special service.
I don't like Johnny's voice.
On a date, huh? Go get her, kiddo.
Coffee.
Alright, maybe it's not that bad.
Is he ignoring me? Ah, he must be shy.
Give me a shout if you're stuck. I know how to talk to the ladies. Trust
Yeah, he does.
Suddenly, Denzel stood up from his seat.
Is he angry?
Johnny was watching Denzel, but the young boy's gaze was directed at the entrance. A man in a plain suit was standing there.
Welcome!
Johnny greeted the customer,
Plain
but
suit.
averted his gaze. He was Reeve, a former
Oh,
Shinra
shit.
executive. It was the first time Johnny had seen the man, who was now leading the WRO,
It's
up
Kate
close.
Sith.
He had a reputation for bringing death.
What business does a guy like him have in my shop?
Reeve glanced around at his surroundings cautiously as he walked over to Denzel's table and sat down. It seemed a habit of his. Something struck Johnny.
Reeve was inviting Denzel to join the army. I have to stop them somehow. If something like that was to happen in my cafe, then I wouldn't be able to face Tifa again.
With that in mind, his expression remained calm as he glared at Reeve.
A coffee, if you don't mind.
Johnny was shocked at how dignified he seemed.
WRO.
Yes, right away.
That's the Wutai
Johnny stood up straight as he
Revulsion.
answered, then scurried back to the stall.
Not an easy person to deal with.
Denzel was surprised that the head of the WRO himself would come to interview him. He stood there.
World
unable to get as
Regenesis
much as he breathed out.
Organization.
Have a seat.
Reeves' voice snapped him out of it, and he nervously sat down.
Now then, Denzel. I'm short on time, so let's get right to business. I should warn you up front. Our organization has changed. Gone are the days when we welcome just anyone into our ranks. If it's volunteer work you're after, contact your local leaders. The WRO is an army now.
Yes, sir. I'm prepared for the dangers.
I'm sure you are. All right, tell me about yourself, starting with your background.
My
Kid's like
background?
11.
I'm only 10.
Yes, I know, but even a 10-year-old
10.
must have a background.
Reeves such a
Denzel was
piece
the
of shit. I
only son
fucking
born
hate
to
Kate
Abel,
Sith.
a workaholic employee of Shinra's Division 3, and Chloe, a sociable woman with a knack for housekeeping. The three of them lived in Shinra's employee housing area on the Sector 7 plate. Abel, who was born and raised in a provincial town, was satisfied that he could raise a family in the upper levels of Midgar's Acropolis. However, he believed he always needed goals in life, and his new one was to live in the executive housing area of Sector 5. When Denzel reached the age of 7, Abel was promoted to head of division. That meant he had the right to live in the Sector 5 housing. Hearing the news, both Chloe and Denzel prepared a surprise party. Sumptuous food and childlike decorations welcomed home the man of the house. It was an enjoyable dinner. Denzel listened to his gleeful father tell jokes and talk about his life.
The fuck?
Denzel, you're lucky to be my child. If you were born in the slums, then instead of chicken, you'd be eating rats.
They don't have chicken?
They do. Because everyone is so poor, they can't afford it. Since there's nothing else they can do, they catch rats with spears. Dirty gray rats.
Ew. Sounds disgusting.
What does it taste like?
Well, Denzel?
Denzel grew uneasy, looking back and forth at his parents'
What the
faces
fuck is
and
he
his
supposed to
plate.
know what rats
His
taste
father
like?
looked down, trying not to laugh. Denzel remembered one of his mother's sayings.
There's no meaning to life without smiles.
They're both trying to scare me again. Neither one of you is fooling me, okay?
What mean parents?
They just used to joke. I didn't mind being teased.
I'll tell you this, but as far as I know, rats weren't eaten in the slums. The rats in the slums at the time were...
I know. I know about it well.
Oh? Did something happen?
It's a long story.
The phone rang while Denzel was watching the house. It was Abel.
Where's your mother?
He seemed angry.
She's out shopping.
When she gets back, tell her to call me back right away. Never mind, I'll call her.
He knew his father was troubled and grew anxious. He couldn't settle down, so he turned on the TV and waited for his mother to come home. On the news, they were showing Mako Reactor 1, which had been blown up just days ago by a group calling themselves Avalanche.
Hey, that was
Dad's
us.
been busy because of this. That's why he was cranky. Not because of me or Mom.
After about an hour, it wasn't his mother who came home. It was Abel.
Where's your mom?
She's not back yet.
Okay, I'm going to look for her.
Abel was out of the house before he even finished the sentence. Panicked, Denzel went after him. They went to the market and found Chloe right away. She was happily talking to the butcher. Abel told Denzel to stay put and walked toward the shop. Without a word, he grabbed his wife's wrist and practically dragged her away.
God
When he heard
damn.
his mother's protests, Denzel tensed up.
Would you let go of me? What's going on?
They're going to destroy Sector 7. Quick, we need to take shelter in the Sector 5. There's a new company residence for us there.
Destroy it?
The scum that blew up Reactor 1. Will they pick their next target?
Denzel looked at both his parents' faces. There was no sign of them stifling laughter. This was no joke.
Number 7.
He grabbed both his parents' hands,
Come on, let's hurry and go.
but the two didn't budge.
But we can't just... What about the neighbors? Our friends?
There's no time, Chloe. Besides, this is classified. I'm breaking rules here, risking my promotion.
Irritated, Chloe shook her wrist free.
Denzel, go with your father. I'll catch up with you soon, don't worry.
After giving Denzel's hand a firm squeeze, Chloe left and started to run.
Chloe!
Abel ran after his wife, but after a few steps, he came to a halt. Seeing how much his father was suffering, Denzel's heart ached.
He wanted to go after her, but I was holding him back.
Denzel, we need to go.
No, we can't leave Mom here.
Mom will be just fine. You can't blame her for caring.
A tall man was dragging a suitcase along as he walked at the borders of the 6th and 7th sectors. Abel called out to him. When the man realized who was calling out to him, he quickly ran over.
You're still here, sir? The Turks have already deployed. By now they should be nearly done planting the explosives. My buddy has a vehicle prepped. We should...
Not in front of my son.
Sorry, sir.
Denzel knew quite a lot about Shinra, thanks to all he had heard from his father since he was little. The Turks were the ones who did all the dirty work.
What did
Yeah,
you
they
mean that
were.
the Turks planted the bombs? Are the Turks with Avalanche?
He stared at the ground, wondering what they were talking about. Sensing his father's gaze, he looked up.
Arkham, could you take Denzel over to Sector 5 for me? The housing area, number 38.
Abel never took his eyes off his son.
No!
Do as I say. Go with Mr. Arkham.
Arkham?
Bring back your mom.
We'll go together.
Is it all right with you, Mr. Arkham?
Of course, sir.
Here's the key. I'll leave my son with it.
From the inside pocket of his suit, he took out a key and forced Denzel to close his hand around it.
Dad,
I bought us a new big screen TV. Watch that while you're waiting for us.
After ruffling his son's hair, Abel gave him a gentle push toward Arkham and started running in the direction of Sector 7. Denzel almost lost his balance, but Arkham was there to catch him.
All right, let's get going. I'm Arkham. I work for your dad. It's nice to finally meet you. He never stops talking about...
Denzel squirmed and tried to run off, but Arkham stopped him.
I understand how you feel, but I can't disobey your father's orders. Let's just go to Sector 5, then you can do whatever you want, okay?
Oh, Christ. Hold on.
It had been several months since they opened the bar. There was a call.
Wait. Oh, what the fuck?
The livestream.net presents
No, it's Case of Denzel. There we go, this one.
The new house, nestled in a row of cookie-cutter homes, was empty, except for a big box holding the TV.
Give me 1 second. I need to go get a drink. Alright, I'm back. Had to go pee too.
Arkham took it out of the box and hooked up the cables. Together, they watched the news. They were still airing the video of Mako Reactor 1 exploding. All Denzel could think about was when Arkham would leave.
I'm hungry.
You got it. I'll go pick something up.
Just then, the entire house shook. A huge explosion could be heard in the distance. As Arkham opened the door, they could hear the screams of twisting metal coming from outside.
The plate
Stay
dropped.
Wait, what about...
Just as Denzel was about to follow, there was an announcement on the TV.
We interrupt our regular
fuck?
broadcast for this breaking news. We have unconfirmed reports that Sector 7 has just exploded. Yes, there seems to have been a tremendous explosion.
Footage of an entire town caving in appeared on the TV.
The plate
It took
dropped.
Denzel a few moments to recognize it as Sector 7, where he and his family had been just hours ago. The scene changed.
This is the current state of Sector 7.
There was nothing there. Sector 7 was gone. Denzel burst out of the house. The streets were in chaos. People were running all over the place, shouting that Sector 5 was next. He ran as fast as he could and didn't stop.
Could
even
you
with the
imagine
chaos
the
around him.
theories?
He made it to Sector 6, completely out of breath. Soldiers were putting up barriers. Denzel approached, trying to get a look at Sector 7. There was nothing there. It was as though nothing ever had been. He could see Sector 8 in the distance. The joints for the Sector 7 plate were peeking out.
Whoa, kid, you're gonna get hurt. Where do you live?
Denzel pointed into the empty space.
I see. Damn shame that. Where are your parents?
Again, Denzel pointed into the space where Sector 7 used to be.
Oh,
He stood next to Denzel and placed his hand on his shoulder.
this is Avalanche's doing. Don't you forget it. When you get bigger, you pay them back for what they've done.
Oh
You have
shit.
to go. You can't stay here.
The soldier turned Denzel towards Sector 6.
He
and
does.
urged
He
him
goes
back.
and lives with them.
He started to walk absent-mindedly. The voices of concerned strangers passed in one ear and out the other.
Which place is going to be next?
Like, what
Dad,
if Avalanche kept
we all
moving
right
on
here?
sector by sector,
Mom!
continuing the fight? Yeah.
I won't forgive those Avalanche scum. What are the Shinra doing?
Like, they're gonna destroy
Dad!
all of Midgar
Mom!
one
where
by
are
one.
you?
The pathetic child's
Like,
voice
being a
was the only
citizen in
one
that
he couldn't
town
tune
has
out.
gotta be wild
When he
after all that
realized it
shit went
belonged to
down.
him, he couldn't walk any
First, a reactor blows up, and then an entire sector gets fucking demolished. Yeah, as a citizen, dude, I'd be freaking the fuck out too.
further. Tears came welling up.
Is it true Shinra did it?
Yes.
Reeve looked
Ouch.
away from him. It seemed he was determined not to show any signs of emotion.
Do whatever you like with me, if you despise me for it.
Denzel shook his head. The next day, Denzel awoke to find himself in
And remember, this is like the conversation they're having. They're having this conversation post meteor fall. I do believe. No. Yes? Yeah, because it's an edge.
the new house in Sector 5. Beneath him was a mattress that couldn't have been there the day before, yet there he was, lying on it. Someone had left a note and a pastry by his bedside.
I'm at the office. I'll drop by to check on you once in a while. Also, don't wander off too far. Everyone's riled up just now, so it's pretty dangerous. But more importantly, it would be hard to find you, and you're a pretty important boy. P.S. I borrowed the mattress from the neighbor, so be sure to return it. Arkham.
They aired the footage of Sector 7's collapse on the TV over and over again. Denzel heard Shinra's announcement that Midgar was safe now. His own parents might be dead. They could say it was safe all they wanted.
Jesus
but he
Christ.
wouldn't buy it.
Now that it's so safe, does everyone get to live a happily ever after? Does that include me?
Mm-hmm.
Denzel tried
Yeah.
to eat the pastry. Before taking a bite, he noticed that he had inadvertently squashed it and the cream in the middle was oozing out. Anger surged in him. He threw the pastry at the TV and stormed out of the house. It was quiet. He could see the Shinra building towering over the center of Midgar.
Dad might be alive. He might be at the office with Mom. At a time like this, he must be way too busy to get away. There are lots of Shinra houses around here. Maybe someone knows Dad. I hate talking to grown-ups I don't know. But I've got to suck it up and ask.
He went to the house on the right
Poor
and
kid.
rang the doorbell. There was no answer. He tried opening the door. It wasn't locked, so he poked his head inside.
Oh yeah, he's topside.
Hello?
He waited for a moment, but as before, there was no answer. Arkham had borrowed the mattress from this house, it seemed.
What are we? Thieves? Taking stuff without asking? Is that how we have to live now? Stealing and doing whatever else it takes?
The house on the left, the one across the street, the one next to that, they were all empty. Everyone had left. He went to check the houses further down the street. On almost every door, there was a piece of paper which stated that the tenants were taking temporary refuge and where they could be contacted. No one was left. It didn't seem possible that his parents were at the office. If they were, they would have come here. Even if it was impossible for Denzel's father to come, his mother certainly would have. The hope he held on to was shattered as he walked away. Before he knew it, Denzel noticed he had completely lost his way. He couldn't remember how he got there, or even where he came from. Tears flowed down his face. They weren't so much tears of sadness, but more of anger.
I did
He
say
stopped and sat down in the
Denzel had
street,
a hell of a hard
but
time
jumped
as a
when
kid.
he realized he'd sat down on something sharp. It was a small model of one of Shinra's airships. A child must have dropped it. Denzel picked it up and threw it as hard as he could at the closest house.
Ugh! I hate everyone!
The sound of glass breaking echoed through the deserted street, followed by a woman's voice.
Who's there? Who did this?
Before Denzel realized what he had done, an old lady came out of the house in front of him. Maybe she wasn't that old, but to Denzel, everyone over a certain age was old.
You did this?
She was holding the model airship in front of Denzel. He gave an honest nod.
Why would you... Are you crying?
Denzel shook his head in denial, but he couldn't hide his tears.
Where do you live?
He couldn't bring himself to answer her. Tears welled up and wouldn't stop.
Well, why don't you come inside?
The inside of Ruby's home seemed very different to Denzel's. It felt cozy. The wallpaper was printed with lots of flowers. The upholstery had a similar pattern. The actual flowers that decorated the room were artificial. But still, the room had a sense of warmth and tranquility. Denzel took a seat on the sofa and looked at Ruby. She was struggling to patch up the shattered glass window with a plastic bag.
When my son gets home, he'll be able to fix this up right as rain. This should do for now.
I'm sorry, Miss Ruby.
If times weren't how they are, I'd go give your parents an earful.
My mom and dad, they're...
What, you expect me to believe they left you here and just ran off?
They were in Sector 7.
Ruby stopped what she was doing. She sat down on the sofa and held Denzel in her arms.
I don't remember if his
Once he
parents
calmed
died
down,
or not.
She suggested they go outside. They decided to go look for his house. The two of them walked hand in hand. When Denzel reached the age of 6, he had stopped holding hands with his parents. It made him look uncool. But right now, he never wanted to let go. The Shinra employees among the residents were staying at headquarters, working to resolve the situation. Their families were taking refuge in Junon or Costa del Sol. Ruby remained behind because, as she explained it, if you're going to be alone no matter where you go, then there's no place better than your own home. Eventually, they found Denzel's house.
Thank you very much. And about the glass, I'm sorry.
Ruby nodded silently. As Denzel opened the door, she peered inside the empty house.
What are you planning to do with the house that doesn't have anything? Come to my house, okay?
And so, that was how Denzel came to live with Ruby. When Mako Reactor 1
I think
was
his parents
destroyed,
did die.
Ruby knew trouble was on the way, so she bought lots of food. The storage shed in the back garden was full of canned food and non-perishables.
There's no need to worry when you're prepared.
Ruby was busy every day, cleaning the inside of the house, cleaning the outside of the house, preparing food, her sewing. Denzel helped with everything but the sewing. Before she went to sleep every night, she read a book. Ruby picked thick, challenging books. When Denzel asked if it was any good, she replied, "Not one bit." They were her sons. For more than 5 years, she had continued to read them, thinking they might help her understand her son's work. She laughed when she realized they were only good for putting her to sleep. Ruby lent Denzel an encyclopedia of monsters, telling him it would be useful. That too belonged to her son. He had read it when he was around Denzel's age. It contained descriptions and color illustrations of monsters. The same thing was written on every page. If you encounter a monster, run, then tell an adult.
If I run into a monster right now, am I really supposed to tell Ruby? She doesn't look like she'd be a very good fighter. Would I have to fight it then? Am I strong enough? Could I win? I'm completely useless. That's why my parents didn't want me to go with them.
The sun had grown stronger, and Denzel was soaked with sweat.
Damn. This heat.
Denzel took out a handkerchief to wipe away the sweat.
What an adorable pattern. Like a little girl's.
Yes, sir.
Denzel smiled, staring at the handkerchief. One morning, when Denzel awoke, Ruby was there holding a shirt by the collar.
Denzel, put this on. I made it for you, but this was the only fabric I could find.
On the white shirt was a pattern of little pink flowers. It was something that Denzel would normally flatly refuse to wear, but he put it on, delighted.
Thanks, Miss Ruby.
Well, I had extra fabric. Here.
She held out a handkerchief with the same pattern. There must have been a lot of extra fabric, judging from the number of handkerchiefs she had made. Denzel took just one and folded it neatly into his pocket.
Denzel,
The smile faded from Ruby's face.
I don't know how to explain this.
Denzel considered what she might say to him. The words he feared most came to mind. Get out. The very notion made him tremble with anxiety.
Let's go outside.
Ruby went outside into the backyard. Denzel hesitated, but eventually followed. He walked along the thick bed of soil and stood next to her. She stood glaring at the sky. Denzel looked too. There was a great black spot up there. It was a truly ominous sight. Only blue and white belonged in the daytime sky. Surely any other color spelled gloom and turmoil.
They're calling it meteor. That's about all I know about it. But they're saying that thing is going to crash into the planet and put an end to everything.
Ruby took 2 cans out of the shed and handed them to Denzel.
How do you prepare for something like that, for crying out loud?
That day, Ruby didn't clean, sew, or do anything else. She just sat on the sofa thinking. She did, however, make several phone calls. Whoever it was, they weren't answering.
Could you imagine that? Just like being a citizen, like just walking out of your house and seeing a giant fucking meteor in the sky. All the news telling you, yup, it's about to crash into the planet and we're all gonna die. Like, what do you do? What do you do? How do you spend your last moments? Jesus Christ. And especially for Denzel, he's like, oh, the fucking government blew up. Well, not he thinks it's Avalanche, but the government blew up an entire fucking part of the city and killed his parents. And now this fucking meteor is coming to destroy the planet. The kid can't fucking catch a break.
Denzel thought she must have been calling her son. He was having trouble visualizing what meteor's impact would be like. More importantly, he had a question to ask, but he couldn't find a way to bring it up. As night fell, Ruby began to clean, as if to announce her return to reality.
Denzel, you're doing it all wrong. Haven't you been watching how I clean?
That was the Ruby he knew. It was night, and the 2 of them sat side by side on the sofa, reading their usual books.
Denzel, I intend to wait for the end right here. If the planet is going to be destroyed, one place is as good as another. What will you do? If you plan to go somewhere else, take any food in the house with you. I know you're still just a boy, but I think you should choose where you face the end.
Personally, I'd be pissed because that means no
Denzel
part 3.
thought carefully about what
I would think it's ironic because that's what we're waiting for.
Ruby said. Finally, he asked the question he had been longing to ask all day.
Is it okay if I stay here?
Ruby looked up from the book at Denzel.
Except for our planet don't have no fucking live stream to help us out.
And smiled. After that,
Our planet
she
sucks.
carried on the way she always had, except she never cleaned outside. The yard work was Denzel's job now. He saw construction had started at the Shinra building. In no time at all, they installed an enormous cannon.
Shinra's gonna get rid of Meteor for us.
That company always finds a way to screw up.
True.
In the end, the cannon fired just one beam at an unseen target before collapsing in a wreck.
Diamond weapon.
As if that weren't enough, the Shinra building itself was attacked.
What kind of monster is out there?
The weapon.
I couldn't even begin to imagine a monster that could destroy buildings. Up in the sky hung Meteor, unchanged. All hell may have broken loose elsewhere, but Denzel's days were peaceful. There were times when he couldn't suppress his longing to see his parents and wept aloud, but Ruby's embrace would always comfort him.
This is not like the series,
If
and
end was
then the
to come
moon
while
woke
he
up.
slept
Oh
next to
god.
her, then he really didn't mind. What robbed Denzel of his peace in the end wasn't Meteor, but an angry torrent of light. The livestream may have been a force for good that effectively destroyed Meteor, but the dense life energy also worked its destruction on people. The chosen day, Denzel and Ruby were in bed, about to fall asleep. Outside, they heard a fierce wind howling. It was too loud to be just wind. Soon, the entire house began to shake. The end had come. Denzel hoped it would be over quickly, but as more time passed, the worse the tremors grew. The noise grew too. It crescendoed to such a roar, like a train speeding past the house.
Goddamn, dude. And he was in Midgar when Meteor was about to hit, too. So all those fucking fire tornadoes were ripping around him. And he was on top plate, not to mention. Jesus.
Denzel held tight onto Ruby, shutting his eyes, trying to brave it as best he could. But 5 minutes proved to be his limit.
Miss Ruby, I'm scared.
She sat up, and just as she went to turn on the light, the flower-patterned curtains turned bright white. It was as though the whole house was engulfed in light.
Cover yourself with the blanket.
As Ruby left the bedroom, the shaking intensified, and the flowers on top of the dresser fell to the floor. Denzel leapt out of the bed and went after Ruby. She stood, staring at the living room window, the one she had crudely patched up with nothing but a plastic bag. The plastic had swelled up and looked ready to burst at any moment. Ruby ran to the window and used both hands to hold it in place.
Denzel, get back inside!
Denzel was trembling. He couldn't move, as if his feet were stuck to the ground.
It was me who broke the window. It must be my fault that this is happening.
Ruby left the window and rushed over to Denzel. He clung to her, even as she forcibly pushed him back into the bedroom. At that moment, the plastic burst, and a dazzling wave of light came flooding into the house. Ruby quickly shut the door.
Denzel, you keep the door shut!
Miss Ruby!
Denzel cried as he grabbed the doorknob and tried to open the door.
Denzel, stop it!
But...
Denzel tried at the doorknob again. Ruby stood there, with her back toward the door, feet apart and arms extended, taut across the doorframe.
Keep it closed!
This shit's intense.
Ruby, he saw a stranded wave of light crash into the walls and rebound. It writhed violently inside the room, like a glowing snake running wild.
I didn't think it was a monster from the monster encyclopedia. Should I run and tell an adult about it? No. In this house, I must stand and fight. Miss Ruby!
The light lunged at her as she yelled. A short moan could be heard. The light morphed into what looked like a slender piece of rope, forcing its way into the bedroom through a gap between Ruby and the wall. Ruby fell crumpled where she stood, as Denzel got thrust back unconscious.
I don't know how long I was lying there. When I came to, the whole house was in shambles. Miss Ruby was lying on the floor. I called her name and she opened her eyes, just a little, and said, "I'm glad you're safe," in a soft voice. Then she asked me to hold her hand, so I held my hand out. She took it.
Did this turn into a fucking horror? The game we play and love, dude, it is not a happy game if you haven't noticed, brother. This shit is crazy depressing.
But there was no strength in her at all. She said, "My son's hand is too big. I can't get mine around it anymore."
It's just listening to it from the perspective of the citizens of Midgar and not from the perspective of our hero group. It's a whole lot different. Like, we're out there trying to stop Meteor, trying to stop Sephiroth. We have a goal. We're trying to do shit to, like, save the planet. But as from the perspective of just citizens who, like, what the fuck can they do besides just wait to die? Like, it's depressing, dude. That would suck.
And I thought, good thing I'm a kid. Then she asked me what it looked like outside. I was worried about her, but I went out to look. It was morning. The whole area was just like the inside of the house.
Yeah,
Shambles.
exactly.
Denzel hung his head.
When you're with the
and
heroes,
continued
it's
to
not
stare,
that bad.
while Reeve closed his eyes mournfully and listened. After heading outside, Denzel turned around and looked at Ruby's house. He could see that all of the windows had been blown out. Looking around, he saw that it was the same with all of the other houses in the area. There were houses without roofs, houses with big gaping holes in the walls. Denzel now knew that it would have turned out the same way, whether he broke the window or not. But he got mad at himself for thinking it.
Miss Ruby went through such a horrible ordeal just to protect me, and here I am acting as if I had nothing to do with it.
When he went back inside, it looked like Ruby was sleeping. She had such a peaceful look on her face. Disconcerted, he gave her shoulders a little nudge.
Miss Ruby, hey.
She showed no sign of waking.
Miss
Oh, God.
Ruby?
This time, he tried shaking her a little harder.
Oh, God.
A stream of black fluid dribbled from the corner of Ruby's mouth. Seeing it was a sign of death, he hastily wiped it away. The black stuff was oozing from underneath her hair, too. Denzel felt sick. He bolted out of the house, gripped with fear.
Dad, please. Mom, help me. Mr. Arkham, anybody.
There was nobody left. Nobody to hold his hand and tell him that everything was going to be okay. All he could do was cry.
I'm gonna fucking cry. God damn.
Hey, don't cry.
Denzel
Was
felt
this
a huge
jacked?
hand ruffling his hair. When he looked up, he saw a great big man with a jet black mustache standing there. Behind him was a small truck with around 10 people sitting in the back.
What are you doing here? Didn't you hear them say on the TV to take shelter in the slums?
Denzel felt like he would get scolded if he didn't give a satisfactory answer.
We didn't watch TV.
No kidding you didn't. We didn't know. We thought we'd be okay. It's the same story with a whole lot of you.
Everyone on the truck had sheepish looks on their faces.
So, you got family?
Miss Ruby's in the house. The man's name was Gaskin. He helped me bury Miss Ruby in the backyard.
God
People in
damn.
the truck helped too. We buried her with her son's books and her sewing kit. Everyone was surprised how deep the soil in the backyard was. They said they usually hit the plate right away.
Perhaps she'd meant to grow vegetables. A lot of elderly folk from the country do that, you know.
I think it was flowers.
Denzel looked at the floral pattern on his handkerchief.
The house was full of flower patterns, and she had lots of fake flowers too. But I think what she wanted was some real ones. She lived in Midgar because her son worked for Shinra. But she just wanted a nice place with soil, where she could plant some flowers and... Sorry, I'm rambling, huh?
Reeve nodded as he listened.
No.
The truck carrying Denzel and the others eventually stopped at the train station.
The trains aren't running. No prospects of them starting up again either. But lucky for us, the tracks still lead down to the city. We should be able to walk it.
Is Midgard dangerous?
Well, I don't know. But I'll take my chances with good old sod ground.
He turned to Denzel.
Careful you don't slip. Everybody's hit hard right now. You gotta look after yourself.
The truck did a U-turn and left. A large crowd had gathered in the terminal. The white light had affected the whole of Midgar. Those who had lost their homes retreated there, as well as those who thought the whole city might collapse around them. Even so, many of them were hesitant to walk down the tracks to the ground. There were no cheers to be heard that Meteor was gone. Instead, people shouted their grievances with the botched and belated evacuation order. Denzel thought to himself that it was good that his father wasn't here to listen to this. He waded through the crowd to the platform and fell in with the procession down the tracks. He didn't know what was in store below, but seeing that Gaskin was the only one showing the way, doing as he said seemed like the best course of action.
We didn't know what lay ahead, but the only person leading was Gaskin. It was obvious that we had no other choice but to follow him.
Between rails and cross ties, laid atop iron struts, Denzel could see the ground far below. They were far enough up that falling meant certain death, so he made his descent cautiously. The railway spiraled down around Midgar's perimeter, and it was sickeningly long. But with his mind focused on keeping his footing, he never had to think about it. Suddenly, they seemed to have come to a dead end. The adults had come to a halt. It was like being in a traffic jam. When he made his way to the front of the crowd, there was a boy of about 3 sitting precariously between the rails with his legs out in front of him.
If he was the cause of our delay, then I thought we could have just gone around him.
Where's your mama?
Suddenly, the boy started crying and yelling.
Mama.
He tried to peer down below. He lost his balance and looked like he was about to fall, so Denzel darted forward and grabbed his arm.
Hey, that kid, he's marked.
Don't touch him. You'll catch it.
Denzel had no idea what they were saying.
Hey, clear the road!
Denzel looked up like he wanted to object to whoever said that, but he didn't see who it was. With no other choice, he put his hands on the boy's waist and dragged him onto the iron plate where it was safer.
I was wondering why no one helped, but I soon realized the reason why. The boy's back was soaked in a black substance.
Oh,
The
goddamn,
path was
dude.
now clear, so people started to walk again.
The small children with the space cancer.
Mama, it hurts.
Denzel remembered someone saying, "You'll catch it." He wanted to cry. He was furious at the boy, but he immediately remembered Ruby, how he had felt ill when the same black fluid came out of her, even though she had been so kind to him, how he got scared and ran off. His heart was filled with guilt.
That was why I planned to wipe that sin away by helping the boy. I wanted Ruby to forgive me.
Denzel knelt down next to him.
Where's it hurt?
Back there.
Your back hurts?
He carefully placed his hand on the boy's back.
Yeah, I'm thinking after this chapter, we got like 5 more minutes left. I'm gonna end up
did the same if I
going to
bumped into
bed.
things. I might be able to use some of Mom's magic too.
Denzel did his best to ignore the sticky black substance and started to rub. Although it was painful at first, the boy soon fell asleep. For 3 hours, maybe even longer, he continued to rub, taking breaks now and then. People ignored Denzel and the boy as they descended the tracks.
He's dead, you know.
Looking up,
Oh
he
my
saw the
god,
tired face
dude.
of a woman. She had a baby fastened around her chest, and a girl about Denzel's age was holding her hand.
That shirt looks like a girl's. It's so weird, isn't it, Mama?
Without uttering a word, the woman helped her daughter out of her blue jacket and held it out to Denzel.
Put this over him.
The little girl was relieved. She had been bundled up in 3 layers of clothes and was soaked with sweat.
You can have it. It belongs to my big sister. That's why it's so big.
Denzel looked at the boy, curled up asleep next to him. It didn't sound like he was breathing. Denzel was completely out of strength. The little girl took the jacket from her mother and wrapped it around the boy. His body was now completely hidden from view.
He's with my big sister now.
Thank you.
Just saying that took all the energy he had. The mother started walking again, and the little girl followed her. She slid her hand into her mother's. Both their hands were dyed jet black. Gazing at the chocobo on the bag the little girl was carrying, Denzel thought to himself,
Were they all going to die crying in pain with that black stuff flowing out? Was everyone going to die because they're ill?
Back then, we didn't know a thing about the stigma. People exposed to the life stream oozed ichor from their bodies and died. Some said it spread through skin contact. Actually, it was remnants of Genova mixed in the life stream. Well, even if people knew, it would have made no difference.
Right. especially to a kid.
Yeah.
Up there on the tracks, I thought, I wish I was grown up. Even if it meant just one less time I spent thinking about something I could never understand.
Denzel absent-mindedly watched the people who fled to the station in the slums. One by one, they descended from the upper levels. And still they kept walking as if they believed stopping would be their end. While he knew he should do the same, he couldn't abandon the hope he might run into a familiar face if he stayed put. All that drove Denzel while he was in that limbo was unbearable hunger. Walking around the outside of the terminal looking for food, he saw a pile of goods stacked up a short distance away. Further on, he saw several men working away at something. It seemed they were digging a hole. The smell of decay hung in the air. A man came over carrying a young woman on his shoulders and gently lowered her into the hole. It was a makeshift grave.
Everybody's
As Denzel
dying
made a
in this
hasty exit,
bitch.
he spotted a familiar backpack among the pile of goods. It had a picture of a chocobo on it. He
Oh,
was somehow compelled to pick up the bag and open it. Inside were some cookies and chocolate. Denzel thought about the little girl who owned it.
She's gone now.
Jesus Christ. What a way to end that chapter. Alright, that's it for me tonight. It's 3:30 in the morning. Probably like 5 a.m. for you, Kian. I'm going to bed. We're almost to the very sad chapter of what Barrett's doing. We have one more case of Denzel. But I'm going to bed. You guys should probably do the same thing. Good night. Sweet dreams after this extremely depressing story we're listening to. Good God. Alright, nighty night, everybody.